I think the first thing is a focus on the specific audience that the explanation is designed for. I think it's a little bit like comedy, that jokes don't work just because there's some objective decision about whether something's funny or not. Well, the only thing that matters is what the audience thinks is funny. So with an explanation doesn't work or not in a vacuum. You've got to consider who the audience is and to what degree they actually understand it or not. An example might be that if I walked into a conference full of physics PhDs who were doing presentations about physics, I might think like, oh God, these explanations are terrible. I don't understand any of this. But the truth is, it's just not for me. So I think that a real focus on the audience matters, and trying to understand what they are likely to understand or what might sound familiar to them. I think this idea of familiarity is really important when you're thinking about the language that you use, because familiar language is what's going to bring people in and for them to realize that they're going to learn something. I think setting expectations is really important. I think one of the traps of explanation is when you get concerned that if you are going to explain something, that you're going to sound condescending, or that you're going to sound that you make people feel like that you think you're smarter than them because you can explain it. And that is a very real risk. But I think that can be mitigated by setting an expectation that, like, there's a variety of experiences in the room right now or on this email or whatever. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and talk about this from a very simple standpoint so that we can all start on the same page. A third thing I think is building context. A lot of times when we know a subject very clearly, we assume that the audience has that same experience. And this is often called the curse of knowledge. When we know something very well, it's harder for us to imagine what it's like not to know. So we might just start throwing information out there without context. And sometimes taking a step back, talking about the big picture and the world where this idea lives can be really powerful.